Protester after protester after protester led away in cuffs in the courtroom of Judge Richard Senat today. The judge issuing a more severe ruling than prosecutors recommended in nearly every case involving demonstrators from Saturday's Straight Pride Parade, clearly frustrating both prosecutors and their defense attorney colleagues.
I can't say anything specifically about this judge.
One of your colleagues told me what happened in there was staggeringly unjust.
I'm not sure which colleague it is you're referring to.
But members of the Boston Police Union were very happy, saying the protesters threw urine and assaulted police. They were in court today advocating that charges like disorderly conduct, often dismissed at arraignment, instead be fully prosecuted. They say 4 officers were injured and remain off the job.
We couldn't be happier at the moment with the judge that's on the bench.
In total, 36 protesters were arrested. Video from 2 of them shows the arrest of Rod Weber. He's seen yelling at police but not being violent. Prosecutors wanted his charges dismissed, but the judge had him arrested in the hallway instead after he refused to enter the courtroom. We spoke to him earlier in the day.
They messed up my leg real good. I was screaming in agony, and they called this resisting, but you can see in all the wide shots of all the other journalists there that it's simply not the case. They're making things up.
And still no comment from Suffolk DA Rachel Rollins. I reached out to the judge as well. We haven't heard back from him. We're going to have much more in this story. You'll hear from more people and a little more details coming up at 6 o'clock. We know that 36 people were arrested during this event, and the head of the Boston Police Union says he wants all of them prosecuted. President Michael Leary telling the Herald the officers did their job and he hopes that the courts do the same. Those comments coming on the heels of quotes from Congresswoman Ayanna Pressley. She, on the other hand, is supporting a bail fund for those charged, saying yesterday she does not think demonstrators should have been arrested because they were, quote, protesting a racist, fascist demonstration. Now, for his part, the mayor says it was outside groups who tried to disrupt the event, and police say 4 officers were injured. But protesters I spoke to this morning claim that it was police who were too aggressive.
I walked away. I hadn't done anything wrong. I wasn't trying to run or resist or any of that. I got grabbed from behind in a chokehold. I went down. They messed up my leg real good. I was screaming in agony, and they called this resisting, but you can see in all the wide shots of all the other journalists there that it's simply not the case. They're making things up.
And Boston police say that they will be taking a look at how their officers handled this event. Again, many of those protesters are being arraigned as we speak. We'll have a full report coming up later tonight in our evening broadcast.
3 dozen people were arrested during the so-called Straight Pride Parade and rally in Boston on Saturday. The district attorney's office says they'll likely be in court starting today. A spokeswoman for the DA's office tells the Globe that they're reviewing each arrest and the charges involved. Congresswoman Ayanna Pressley told us yesterday she didn't believe those protesting the event should have been arrested. Critics labeling the parade opening homophobic. Boston police say they do plan to review how officers handled any conflicts at the event. 4 officers were injured in connection with those demonstrations.
Take a look at the statute.
Judge Richard Senat openly arguing with prosecutors, asking for leaner rulings for defendants. Part of a highly unusual scene today in which the judge consistently issued a more severe ruling than the DA requested.
I can't say anything specifically about this judge.
One of your colleagues told me what happened in there was staggeringly unjust.
I'm not sure which colleague it is you're referring to.
The cases involve demonstrators from Saturday's Straight Pride Parade. 36 were arrested, but many were charged with crimes often quickly settled or dismissed. But the judge moved nearly all the cases forward or issued bail when it wasn't requested. That sat well with members of the Boston Police Union who say officers were assaulted, 4 of whom remain injured.
We couldn't be happier at the moment with the judge that's on the bench.
One of the arrests was caught on camera. Rob Weber was charged with assaulting a police officer, but his and other videos don't show any violence. Today, prosecutors moved to dismiss his charges, but the judge had him arrested in the hallway instead. We spoke to him prior.
They called this resisting, but you can see in all the wide shots of all the other journalists there that it's simply not the case. They're making things up.
Boston police say they'll investigate the use of force, while the union insists there was no favoritism and they have no beef with the DA.
The judge on the bench has taken a different position. And as a representative of the Patrolmen's Union, I can tell you that we like that position.
And Congresswoman Ayanna Pressley is among those raising bail money for some of these defendants. So far, no comment from the DA, Rachel Rollins, no comment from the judge either. But at one point in open court, he said to the prosecutor, quote, "It sounds like you picked up the wrong fork at dinner." We're live here in Boston. Adam Bagney, WCVB News Center 5.
6 o'clock, dozens of people arrested during the Straight Pride Parade in Boston faced a judge today, and that judge did not hold back. WBZ's Christina Rex was in the courtroom where many protesters were actually hauled away in handcuffs.
6 people taken in handcuffs out of court, ordered held on cash bail or without bail by a Boston judge. Some of them shocked, as they had already been arrested and released by Boston police over the weekend. There were 18 in total in court Tuesday. A handful are charged with assaulting police as they protested Saturday's Straight Pride Parade. Others are charged with disorderly conduct. Those charges, prosecutors tried to get dropped.
Motion's denied.
But the judge upheld all the charges.
We couldn't be happier at the moment with the judge that's on the bench.
Members of the Boston Police Patrolmen's Association were grateful the judge went against prosecutors' wishes, as they say 4 of their own were injured during Saturday's parade and protest.
Many officers were assaulted throughout the day, with bottles of urine being thrown at them, bottles of chemicals.
But protesters say the police used excessive force while arresting 36 people.
No peace! Straight pride, get up! He turns around and he starts striking me.
Some tell WBZ they want an investigation and believe the police were getting preferential treatment in the courtroom, an accusation the police union denies.
We're here hoping to convince the DA that this is a serious matter.
All in all today, 6 people were taken in handcuffs. The rest were sent home. They'll all be back over the next couple of months. We did reach out to DA Rachel Rollins for comment, but we did not hear back. In Boston, Christina Rex, WBZ News.